Welcome everybody to this week's edition of Long Island Legal. My name is Joe Campolo, managing partner of Campolo, Middleton & McCormick, a full-service law firm located at the Islip MacArthur Airport in Ronkonkoma. This morning we're very excited to have Michael Pfaff. He's the president and general manager of our very own Long Island Ducks. And Michael, I got to tell you that one of the best things we ever did as a law firm was become season ticket holders of the Ducks. Our fans, your fans, our clients love them. We can't give them out fast enough. They're clamoring for it. We get so much warm emails and calls saying what a great time they had with their family there. So you guys are doing a great job over there. So congratulations on
Thank you.
On that. So Michael, let's learn a little bit about you, because I know you've been with the Ducks now for about 8 years or so. Is that correct?
Yes.
12 years. Yep. Right. So tell me about your background. First of all, where do you live? You have a family here?
Sure. Yeah, I live in Sayville, and I have a family with 3 children, and a wife, and a young little Boston Terrier dog.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
we live in Sayville, enjoy it very much. It's a beautiful town. It's got a nice downtown area. I grew up in Manhasset on Long Island, and went to St. John's University. And it was at St. John's that they had a very attractive internship program that included, in my major of sports management, the ability to intern at the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, whichever you chose, as long as you achieved a certain GPA.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I chose the NFL and was fortunate enough to be hired there after my internship, and stayed there for 7 years before joining the Ducks in 2002.
Great. So you joined the Ducks 2002, and what was your very first initiative? Like, you walked in and you said, minor league baseball, is this really going to work? What were your thoughts? What was your plan?
Well, the Ducks were successful right from the get-go, and they were born in 2000. They started in 2000, and were very well received by Long Island in the beginning, because this is something that really didn't exist before the Ducks came to Long Island. And professional baseball played at a high level for an affordable price. It just didn't, it wasn't there. So there was a real hole in the market, and there was a real need for it, and the demand was pent up. So when the Ducks got here and did everything that they said they'd do, which was provide a high quality value and bang for people's dollar, they were responded to very well.
Yeah, and they're good. That's the other thing, right? They're really a really good team. So 2002, 2014, it's been a great ride for you. Tell us some of the high points of your Ducks career.
Well, we recently celebrated our 6 millionth fan. This is our 15th anniversary season, and we became the first team in league history to reach 6 million fans. So that was a great achievement we're very proud of, and we're very thankful to the fans for supporting the team so strongly since day one. And we've won 3 championships in that time, 2004, and then each of the last 2, so 2012 and 13. So we can actually achieve something no other team in the league has done on the field as well this year, and that would be to win a 3rd consecutive championship.
Yeah, and I feel pretty good about it. I mean, one of the things I love about the Ducks is growing up. My family came from Brooklyn. They were all Dodgers fans, and then the Dodgers moved, so we went to the Mets, because you never go to the Yankees at that point as a family. And growing up, my grandfather taught me how to keep a scorecard, and you had a lot of time, and it wasn't expensive. Now it's incredibly corporate and expensive to get there. And for me, being able to teach my nephew how to keep score with the Ducks and everything else is a great experience. And I'm sure that you guys feel that community outpouring for the sport as part of the management team, yeah?
Absolutely. This is something that we kind of view as a public trust, and we really preach accessibility to the field, to the players, to the coaches. We have camps during the summer where children can be taught by the players that play for the Ducks and the coaches down on our field. Growing up on Long Island, the closest we'd ever get to the field, the playing surface, was the upper deck of Yankee or Shea Stadium.
Right.
And now every Sunday with the Ducks, kids run the bases. We have pregame autograph sessions where all the players and coaches are out on folding chairs in front of the dugout, and fans can line up, get their autographs, get their pictures taken, run the bases after the game. Coincidentally, that was the promotions of minor league baseball were something that was made light of by the major league clubs, and now they're all doing it. So they see the value in that. And one of the things that I think people really feel good about when they think about the Ducks is the fact that it's their team. It's their hometown team. It's their field. And, the team has been good and produced for them.
Yeah, it's been fantastic for this area. It really has been. So as president and general manager, what's your day-to-day? What does your day-to-day look like? It seems to me like a dream job. I wish I was sitting in that chair right now. It really seems like a dream job. So I'd love to know what your day-to-day is like.
It really changes, and it's the great thing about the job, but depending upon the time of year, it'll be dramatically different. So during this time of year, we're really in an operational phase, June, July, August, September, making sure that the events that we have, the games we have, go off smoothly without a hitch, that we're delivering on our promises to our sponsors and to our fans, that we're maintaining the top shelf viability of the product, making sure it's a good product, it's clean, it's safe, maintaining the fun aspects of it. In the off season, there's obviously also kind of player personnel issues, acquiring players, and making sure our playing roster is as strong as it can be during the season. And in the off season, it's really about bringing people like yourself into the ballpark and getting businesses involved with the Ducks, whether it be in a ticketing capacity or an advertising capacity, and showing them the benefits of working with us and using the Ducks and our ballpark as a platform.
Yeah, Doug does a good job trying to get us, to increase our sponsorships. You guys do a very good job that way, so he's hard at work. So are you personally involved in the talent acquisition, the players, stuff like that?
Yes.
So tell me about that. That's really kind of interesting to me, because all of a sudden, and like I said, as a Mets fan my whole life, here all of a sudden you see these great players showing up on the Ducks, and I always wonder how they get there. So
Sure.
maybe you can tell our viewers sort of that process.
Absolutely, yeah. The Atlantic League is the league the Ducks play in, and what most people are familiar with are the classifications in Major League Baseball. So if you got drafted by the New York Yankees as an 18-year-old, you'd go to rookie ball and then low A, and then you'd graduate to high A and double A, triple A in the major leagues.
Jeter, right?
Unless you're Jeter,
Right.
You skip a few grades.
You skip a few,
But
exactly.
the Atlantic League, being independent of Major League Baseball, is open classification. So we're very fortunate in that we can sign a player who has a 10-year, 15-year Major League career, or we can sign someone who might be a local product that grew up here in Long Island. A good example of that is a player we've had the last few years, actually retired in the offseason, named Craig Binnick. He grew up in Hicksville, went to Chaminade, went to NYIT, then was drafted by the Orioles, made it to Double A, and then came and won a couple of championships with the Ducks. So
Yes.
people got to see him play with Dontrell Willis and Ramon Castro, and names that they've paid a lot of money to see at the big league ballparks just a few years earlier.
Right.
And it's really a neat way to kind of put a roster together, because it opens up every avenue and allows you to kind of build the best possible team.
Do you ever get a chance to go out and scout talent, or you have scouts that you rely on?
Well, the players that we're signing, we know a bit about already. We're not discovering any unfound or hidden talent, because they're players that have been in major league systems and there are extensive scouting reports on already. So, one of the things that we're trying to do that's totally different from affiliated minor league baseball is we're strictly about winning. And in affiliated minor league baseball, their number one goal is developing talent for the major league roster.
Right.
So it's very different. For us, we sign the best 25 players, the best 9 get in the lineup, and we're trying to win a championship.
So the player mentality, that's interesting. I never really thought of it. But the player mentality that you guys sign then is not, I want to try and make it back someplace to a certain extent. It's, I want to win a championship with this team. It's really team focused.
It is team focused, but it's both. And we've had, our league has had over 600 players purchased, their contracts purchased by major league organizations. So for players, what we try and preach is to make sure that they're doing the right thing as teammates and to help the team win, because that's what the Major League Scouts see. The Major League Scouts, aren't really looking too closely at the team that's 30 games under 500.
Right.
But if you're 30 games over, they want to know who's helping the Ducks do that in the Atlantic League, because they know it's a very high level of play. So, we're always preaching that the team does well, good things happen to guys that are on a good team. And that's been the history over the past 15 years.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, so from strictly a baseball perspective, right, and as a baseball fan, it's such an enjoyable experience to be able to just go, park. Our seats are directly behind home plate. I get to rib the guys on the on-deck circle. And
Okay.
hear the crack of the bat, keep score, get food at a reasonable price. It's just such a great experience. But it's a bigger picture, right? So for Long Island, you guys are an incredibly philanthropic force. So one of the things we did either last year or the year before, which was really cool, is our office manned all the concession stands, and those proceeds went to charities and everything else. So talk about some of the charitable events that the Ducks are involved in, because that's really important.
Thank you. We have over 800 organizations that we work with every year, and our charitable arm is called the Quacker Jack Foundation, named after our mascot, and we established it in 2003.
Right.
And basically what we try and do is help as many different organizations as we can. We have a community outreach manager. We take donation requests all day, every day, and we try to fulfill as many as we can. And for fundraising opportunities for groups like yours, whether it's working in the concession stands or it's group fundraising by purchasing group tickets at a reduced rate and then selling them for donations, we've been really successful in helping different charities raise money. So, we feel very fortunate to be in that position, and giving back to the community is really a very important charge of ours, and something that we're dedicated to.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why we continue to really strongly advocate and support you guys. You can't just take from the community, you gotta absolutely give back to the community. So one question I've always had is, where did the name Quacker Jack come from? Was there a committee that formed that? Was it somebody woke up and said, that's what I want to name them? Where'd that come from?
I wish that there was some marketing genius that, came up with that name, and a great story, but it really is a cool story in that it was a elementary school student that came up with that name prior to the launch.
Oh, very cool, yeah.
And that student is probably about 20 years old now, so if you're out there, thank you.
Yeah, that's really interesting. At some point, maybe they can throw the first pitch out at a momentous occasion, the person who came up with Quacker Jack, because I'm pretty plugged into Stony Brook athletics as well, and their mascot is a seawolf. So we have a Quacker Jack and a seawolf. So nobody really understands Long Island's team mascots.
Right.
So how's the team looking? How's the team looking now? You feel good about it?
I do. I feel very good. Right now we are 30-22, 8 games over 500. We're in second place, and we are on the road, but coming home tomorrow. And tomorrow we have a split doubleheader against the Sugarland Skeeters. They're a team from Texas. And then we play Sunday and Monday. And this is really an important stretch drive in the season's first half for us, because in our league, the season is split into 2 halves, the first half and second half in each division. And the winners of the first and second half play each other in the playoffs. The winners go to the championship.
Right.
So it's great to win the first half, because in the second half, if you need to make adjustments, you can. There's not that incredible pressure to win every ball game in the second half to qualify for the playoffs. While you're still trying to win every game, you certainly, if a starter needs to take a start off or out of the rotation, he can, to rest himself. So we're really pushing hard to win that first half. That would be tremendous, and that will happen sometime over the next 3 weeks. The All-Star break is July 9th.
That's great. So let's switch topics a little bit. Gary Carter, right? Loved by all of us. I mean, it's a fantastic story for me. In '86, I was in the Marine Corps, and I had 2 roommates. It was me from Long Island, 1 roommate from Brooklyn, and my 3rd roommate from Boston. So it couldn't have been a better setting, right? And these guys were heroes. We're serving, we're overseas, we're watching the World Series, and it was fantastic. Rough period for the team, rough period for the organization, right? How did that all play out?
Well, it was a great period having Gary work with us, and he was a very intense manager. He was everything as advertised. It's funny, one thing that you learn is that kind of getting to know these people in this business, the people that are big stars that were on the field, as a fan growing up.
Giant, couldn't get near him as a kid. All of a sudden now he's so accessible, such a wonderful man.
He's like your favorite uncle.
Absolutely.
And everything that you kind of read and hear about these guys is true. Gary was a fierce competitor, very positive guy, a lot of fun to be around, and players wanted to play for him and win for him. And we had a great time the year that he was with us, and it was a tremendous loss when
it was a rough time for all of us, really. I mean, I tried to get to every game I could when he was there, because it just brought me back. It brought me back to the mid '80s and that whole time, which is just a wonderful experience. Final topic I want to talk about a little bit is your thoughts on this whole Moneyball theory of sports and all this stuff that's going on. I'm listening to a lot of it. A game of averages, game of statistics. To me, and I grew up playing baseball, to me it's really about talent, right? It's not about stats, it's still about talent, it's about real talent. What are your thoughts about all of that?
Well, I think the sabermetricians have some good points, and I'm kind of I like a mixture of both. You know, I see a real relevance to some of the things that they've put out, and you can't deny some of the results that some of the teams that have used sabermetrics heavily have enjoyed. The Oakland A's have done some really amazing things with a low payroll. The Boston Red Sox, obviously following that blueprint, won a couple of World Series. So, you know, the sabermetrics game has some very relevant points. Am I a diehard sabermetrician? No. I think that the other side of that is the old school book. You know, you lay down the sack in the second inning. You know, if you have a guy on, I'm not from the old school book either. I kind of fall somewhere in the middle, and I see points on both sides. And you know, we try to you know, utilize our coaching staff is tremendous. Buddy Harrelson's our bench coach. Steve Foucault's our pitching coach. He had a 7-year major league career. Kevin Baez is our manager. He made the big leagues with the Mets and actually made his big league debut for Buddy Harrelson when Buddy was a manager. And Lou Ford is our hitting coach. So we have 4 major leaguers that are on our coaching staff. They do a tremendous job, and you know, they know just so much about baseball that, you know, there's not. Someone's not going to come in and go, this is the sabermetrics book, learn it and put that in place. You know, there's more important things like the experiences that they've had that have taught them kind of how to put in place their strategies, and we rely on that heavily. Yeah,
and I have to tell you, I played for a long time, and those little nuances you can't learn from a book. You can't learn. I always rooted for Gary Kasparov rather than Big Blue in a chess match anyway, you know, so I'm always going to root for the, you know, for the old school. So Michael, thanks for joining us today. Michael Pfaff is the president and general manager of our very own Long Island Ducks, one of the greatest organizations we have here on Long Island and in Suffolk County. As I said, we are a long-term season ticket holder. We couldn't be happier. I encourage all of you out there to get and see our Ducks. Enjoy the experience of baseball. Teach your kids about baseball. It really is a fantastic experience, and for us on Long Island, we're so lucky to have you guys, quality guys like yourself, running this organization. It's absolutely amazing. So, folks, have a great weekend. Michael, thanks for joining us. I know you're a busy guy, but we really appreciate it. And go Ducks.
Go Ducks. Thank you.
Great. Thanks.